Hey everyone! Today I'm going to break down how to play Lux in Wild Rift. Today's matchup in the lane is against Zed. The matchup between Lux and Zed in the mid lane is a pure skill matchup, where the advantage shifts based on each player's level and skill accuracy. Zed is practically the weakest champion at level 1. Lux needs to build an advantage during this early window. The winning formula for Lux is to punish Zed whenever he steps up to last hit minions, chipping away at his HP to take control of the lane. Lux needs to chunk Zed's HP as much as possible and keep him from roaming to other lanes. Now let's break down the specific strategies and counterplay against Zed. Positioning: don't stand inside your own minions. Zed's abilities are AoE, so you don't want to get hit along with them. Respect Zed's shadow. W stay out of its range to significantly reduce the damage you take. Punish when Zed's W is on cooldown. His shadow has a very long cooldown, leaving him vulnerable. Take that chance to win the trade. Keep your HP high. Zed's passive deals bonus damage to low health targets, so it's recommended to stay above 50% HP. Lux has the advantage until level 4, but once Zed hits level 5 and unlocks his ultimate, the tables turn. That's why you need to pressure him as much as possible before then. A Lux without her skill 1 is an easy target for Zed. Never use your skill 1 until Zed engages with his ultimate. Instead of Barrier, taking Exhaust as your summoner spell is super effective because it drastically reduces Zed's burst damage. Since Lux is a burst mage, she runs Ignite to maximize her damage output. For poke mages, Exhaust is a good alternative. The key to playing Lux in the mid lane is to poke enemies from a safe distance using her massive range, completely avoid unnecessary deaths, and control the minion wave. Because Lux has low self-peel and zero mobility, managing your cooldowns and positioning in lane will make or break your game. Use your skill E to secure minion last hits on the backline while simultaneously poking the enemy champion. Leaving your E on the ground maintains the slow zone. You can use it as a wall to zone the enemy's path and disrupt their last hitting. Hitting an enemy with your abilities marks them, and following up with a basic attack deals bonus damage. However, against assassins like Zed where retaliating is too risky, don't force the auto attack and just back off safely. Lux's Q is her only hard CC. The second you miss it, it becomes an invitation for the enemy jungler or assassin to dive you. Missing your Q practically spells death. Only fire your Q when you are certain it will hit. A good rule of thumb is to land your E slow first to set up the Q, or use the minion piercing mechanic to catch them off guard. So close! You were just a second away from securing the kill. But remember, getting a kill isn't everything in the landing phase. Forcing the enemy to recall after chunking their HP is already a massive advantage. By forcing them to recall, they miss out on crucial XP and gold for minion waves, while I get plates and build a growing gold lead. Practically speaking, I've already won this lane. Don't hold back your ultimate. Lux as our final spark has one of the shortest cooldowns of any champion in the game. Once your Q lands, go for the full combo: Q, E, R, and Ignite. Even if you don't secure the kill, chunking their health forces a recall, creating a massive gap in gold and XP. That ultimate didn't hit, but Lux's has map-wide pressure. Always keep an eye on the mini-map to see if any low-health enemies are running away in other lanes. We chunked Zed's HP and forced his flash. That's a huge advantage. He can't even roam to other lanes now. He's basically a pizza without cheese. Poor guy! Lux truly shines in mid to late game team fights once her items are online. Giving the enemy a 1 or 2 kill lead in the landing phase can make it impossible to catch up, so always remember, when in doubt, back off. Because Lux's E is an AoE spell, your lane will naturally tend to push. Make sure to ward the river brush and strictly protect yourself against enemy ganks. Now that we've covered the lane matchup rankings, let's go over Lux's abilities. Lux's passive, Illumination, applies an Illumination debuff to enemies hit by her abilities for 5 seconds. If Lux hits an enemy affected by this debuff with a basic attack, AA, or her ultimate, she consumes the debuff to deal bonus magic damage that scales with her level. This is the most crucial skill for maximizing Lux's damage output. In the early landing phase, simply weaving in a single basic attack after landing a skill is enough to chunk the enemy's health bar significantly. In mid to game team fights and beyond, this passive is also automatically triggered, consumed, and reapplied by her ultimate, which we'll cover later, allowing you to dish out a massive amount of burst damage in an instant. Lux's passive is simple and low profile, but if you make a habit of weaving it in consistently, you can output a surprising amount of damage. Keep that in mind. Lux's Q skill, Light Binding, fires a ball of light in a target direction, dealing magic damage to up to 2 enemies hit and snaring them for 2 seconds. Lux's Q is her lifeline and primary crowd control CC skill. As its standout feature in Wild Rift, it can pierce through any number of minions and snare the first 2 enemy champions it hits, an incredibly powerful mechanic. You can catch enemies off guard when they let their guard down, thinking they're safe behind minions. Because the projectile isn't very fast, your accuracy will improve dramatically if you predict where the enemy is moving and aim ahead, lead your shots, or hit them with your third skill slow first, which we'll cover later. Lux's W skill, Prismatic Barrier, tosses a wand in a target direction, shielding herself and any allies the wand touches. Once it reaches its maximum range, the wand returns to her, applying a second shield upon its return. The shields can stack. It's an exceptionally versatile AoE shield for both offense and defense. Because the shield is applied twice through its round trip, you can maximize your durability by timing your movement with the wand's return. In team fights, simply throwing it toward clustered teammates can significantly boost the team's overall survival rate. Also, when you're being targeted by enemies, throwing it in the direction you're fleeing allows you to quickly pick up a double shield while moving. If you grant a shield to an ally, such as with Lux's W ability, Prismatic Barrier, and that ally immediately deals damage to an enemy champion and secures a kill, you will properly receive an assist. If you apply support skills, such as healing, shields, or buffs, to an ally during, or immediately before, combat with an enemy, you are credited with assisting in that ally's kill. This mechanic is highly beneficial for players who main support and mage roles. Not only does this boost your team's survivability in group fights, but simply deploying your W from a safe position allows you to rack up assists and the associated gold and XP. So keep tossing those shields onto your allies. Lux's E skill, Lucent Singularity, creates a zone of light at a target location, slowing the movement speed of enemies within the area. The zone can either detonate immediately or after a short duration, dealing magic damage to enemies in the area. This is Lux's primary zoning / harass and waveclear skill. In the Wild Rift version, it features a mechanic where pressing the skill button instantly detonates it right beneath enemy champions, making it extremely difficult to avoid and giving it virtually guaranteed hit harass potential. Because of its fast projectile speed and wide area, the standard, foolproof combo is to hit the enemy with this third skill first to apply a slow, and then follow up with your main first skill, snare, while they are slowed. Throwing it into brush to check for vision scouting is also an extremely powerful use. Lux's ultimate, Final Spark, after a 1-second channel, fires a massive laser of immense range that reaches across the map, dealing heavy damage to all enemies in a line. This skill detonates any existing Illumination passive, stacks on enemies hit, and reapplies the passive. It's Lux's signature, ultra-powerful laser. Because its range is nearly infinite, you can stay in your mid lane while supporting fights happening down in Dragon Lane or up in Baron Lane. Furthermore, because its cooldown is among the shortest of any champion in the game, one of its greatest strengths is that you can fire it frequently without needing to hoard it. The basic rule of thumb is to fire it immediately after confirming that your first skill, snare, hits. Since the snare holds them in place for 2 seconds, it is guaranteed to land, even with the 1-second channel time. It also shines when finishing off low-health enemies who escape under their towers, or when stealing neutral objectives like the dragon or baron from a distance. Luden's Echo is a top priority core item. It grants a well-balanced mix of ability power, maximum mana, and ability haste, while its passive effect deals additional AoE magic damage upon hitting targets with a skill, dramatically boosting both your waveclear and harass potential. Did you see that? That's the true power of Lux in teamfights. Binding multiple enemies with your Q, followed by E and your ultimate for that massive burst. That is honestly the most satisfying feeling to pull off. Infinity Orb causes your abilities to critically strike, dealing increased damage against enemies below 35% health, skyrocketing its execution potential with your ultimate R. And this time, I'm running Botanist. I guess that the majority of mid-lane mages are running this rune right now. That's just how effective and valuable it is. Because the mid lane is right in the middle of the map, you have great opportunities to destroy plants all over the map. Make sure to destroy any plants you see as soon as possible. You can rack up gold quickly. In this match alone, Botanist earned me nearly 800 gold. That's essentially like getting about 3 kills worth of extra gold. With First Strike also earning me 500 gold, I'm making over 1,000 gold from runes alone. However, following the recent major patch, many runes other than Botanist, including First Strike, have been nerfed. Prioritizing mobility by running Phase Rush is definitely still a viable and well worth considering option. The absolute worst thing a late-game Lux can do is get caught out by being ambushed by enemy assassins or fighters. Always position yourself at the very back of your team, or diagonally behind your tanks and fighters. The moment they realize Lux's first skill is down, enemy dive champions, like Zed, Master E or Yon, will all jump on you at once. The golden rule is to use it for kiting back. Fire your first skill right as enemies break through your front line and charge toward you or your team's ADC marksman. By holding on to it as an interception tool, you make it so the enemy can't dive in carelessly. So, that was a quick breakdown of Lux. She's easy for beginners to pick up, but has incredible depth. Give her a try. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel.